Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. In the book of Deuteronomy, we're getting to the part where the Lord is instructing the people that once they cross over into the land, that some of the tribes were to stand on Mount Ebal and pronounce the cursings, and then another section of the tribes were to stand on Mount Gerizim and pronounce the blessings. And so they would list out some things that would have been sinful and abominable to the Lord, and then they would, of course, pronounce cursings on those who had practiced such things. And then on Mount Gerizim, they would talk about the blessings that are connected to obedience to the things that the Lord has commanded. I think this was a great practice for the people. What an impression this would have made on the people as they're entering into the land, to realize that, they need to really be able to separate between what is good and what is evil, and to really understand and have impressed on their mind that the good will bring blessing, but the bad will bring cursing, and to have those two separated out. Because when it comes to human nature, oftentimes what we do is, once our desires mix in with things, we begin to blur the lines between what is, of course, what is good and what is evil, and also what will bring a blessing and what will bring a curse. And we tend to blend those things together and to think, well, is this really that bad? Is this really against God's word? Is this really going to bring bad things into my life? Or maybe we'll even stay away from things that are in alignment with obedience towards God, because we think, well, that's not really going to benefit me. I'm not going to really get involved in that. It's not going to really bless me. It's probably going to just be a hindrance to me. And the human mind, the human psyche, oftentimes blurs the line between what is good and what is evil, what will benefit us and what will cause catastrophe in our lives and negative consequences in our lives. And so it was very good for them as they were entering to the land to really have this visual in their minds and in their hearts. And I would say the same thing is true with us as well. In our minds, we ought to have both a Mount Gerizim and a Mount Ebal. That is, we need to really set it in our hearts to draw the line and say, look, I know that these are things that are in alignment with God's will, and as such will bring blessing. And I know in my heart that these are things that are contrary to God's will and to God's law, and these are things that will bring negative consequences in my life. And to really draw the line in the sand and say, these are mountains apart. And whenever we begin to want to blur those lines, to say, no, step back and say, no, this is in connection to, this type of consequences that I might have, and this is according to another type of consequences I might have, and to really have these things separated out even before we're tempted, even before desire begins to arise in our hearts. And if we can have these two mountains, that is, have this already set in our heart and already have this clear in our minds between good and evil, whenever we have that at the beginning, it'll help us to then endure temptation, endure the times when our desires will try to blur the lines and try to get us going in the wrong direction. And so I'd encourage all of us today, and even continuing on as we continue to read God's word, to let God's word help us to discern between good and evil, to be able to differentiate between what is in accordance to God's will and what's against God's will. What will bring a blessing and what will bring a curse. What will bring positive consequences in our lives and what will bring negative consequences in our lives. And the more and more we can separate those things out and be able to discern between those two things, the better off we'll be. And it'll help us to be motivated to follow after the good and to turn away from the evil. So these are some things we can reflect on and think about as we do our reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.